Hello everyone, in today's video let us learn how to construct and test a synchronous decade counter. For ease of understanding, the video is split into two parts. Part 1 will obtain the pin details of IC7490 decade counter, IC7447 7-segment driver and 7-segment display, how to make the connections between them, and then fulfill the next part of the objective in part 2. At the end of this video, you will be able to construct and test a synchronous decade counter. Let us collect the tools, equipment and materials required to do this practical. Digital trainer kit IC74LS90 decade counter, IC74LS47 7-segment driver, common anode 7-segment LED display, resistors 220 ohm 7 numbers, connecting wires, magnifying lens. Let us first look into the pin details of IC74LS90. IC74LS90 is a synchronous decade counter and it's part of the TTL transistor logic family. The IC74LS90 is a synchronous counter that can count in binary coded decimal BCD. It's commonly used in digital electronics for counting applications. The IC74LS90 typically comes in 14-pin dual inline package DIP. The pins are numbered as follows. Pin 1 clock input to CLKB. Pin 2 reset input 1 R1. Pin 3 reset input 2 R2. Pin 4 no connection NC. Pin 5 power supply plus 5 volt VCC. Pin 6 set input 1 S1. Pin 7 set input to S2. Pin 8 BCD output QC. Pin 9 BCD output QB. Pin 10 ground GND. Pin 11 BCD output QD. Pin 12 BCD output QA. Pin 13 no connection. Pin 14 clock input 1 CLKA. Let us first look into the pin details of 7-segment driver IC74LS47. The IC74LS47 is a BCD to 7-segment decoder or driver IC often used to display numerical values on a 7-segment display. The IC74LS47 typically comes in a 16-pin dual inline package. Pin 1 BCD input B. Pin 2 BCD input C. Pin 3 lamp test. Pin 4 ripple blanking output. Pin 5 ripple blanking input. Pin 6 BCD input D. Pin 7 BCD input A. Pin 8 ground. Pin 9 E output to 7-segment display. Pin 10 D output to 7-segment display. Pin 11 C output to 7-segment display. Pin 12 B output to 7-segment display. Pin 13 A output to 7-segment display. Pin 14 G output to 7-segment display. Pin 15 F output to 7-segment display. Pin 16 power supply plus 5 volt VCC. Pin 9 to pin 15 is complementary outputs. 7-segment LED display. A 7-segment LED light emitting diode display is a type of electronic display device used to represent decimal numbers. It consists of 7 individual LED segments arranged in a rectangular pattern with each segment capable of being individually turned on or off. The display has 7 segments arranged in the form of the digit 8. Each segment is labeled A, B, C, D, E, F and G and represents a specific portion of the digit. Make a connection between IC74LS90 decade counter, IC74LS47 7-segment driver and 7-segment display. Check the pins of all ICs for missing pins like broken or damaged pins. Identify the IC74LS90, IC74LS47 with their part number printed on the ICs using magnifying lens. Identify pin number 1 from the pin details on both ICs and place it horizontally between supports on the breadboard. Connect the plus 5 volt VCC power supply to pin 5 at the synchronous decade counter IC74LS90. And pin 16 at the 7-segment driver IC74LS47 as shown in the circuit diagram. Connect the clock pulse to pin 14 at the synchronous decade counter. Connect pin 8 to IC74LS47 to ground. Connect pin 10 to IC74LS90 to ground. In the synchronous decade counter, connect pins 2, 3, 6, 7 and 10 together. Using jumper wire and connect them to the ground as shown in the circuit diagram. Also interconnect the pins 1 and 12 in the decade counter. Connect pin 12 of IC74LS90 to pin 7 of IC74LS47. Connect pin 9 of IC74LS90 to pin 1 of IC74LS47. Connect pin 8 of IC74LS90 to pin 2 of IC74LS47. Connect pin 11 of IC74LS90 to pin 6 of IC74LS47 as shown in the circuit diagram. Connect pins 4, 5 and 3 of the 7-segment driver IC74LS47 to the VCC power supply. In this video, we have discussed the pin details of IC7490 decade counter, IC7447, 7-segment driver and 7-segment display and how to make the connections between them. See you in part 2.